Marcel, you tacky as tacky couldn't be. Walking over there asking for that lady for $100. She done saved the whole Black Business Expo and you worried about $100. See, that's why they wasn't trusting you in the beginning about that sponsorship stuff. You just proved everybody's point about how you was going to get down on the business tip. But hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, you know me, girl Brandy Yvonne. Here at my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. Y'all, this video, we are talking Owns, Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 6, episode 14, I believe, titled Kiuwhaaaaat. And they dragged out the what, okay? Sorry I didn't get this to y'all last night. My nieces were over, so I was not going to be able to record no videos. I barely even got to watch the episode, but let's get into the review. Before you all do anything, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button when you get a chance, before you click off the video, of course. All right, let's get into it. So we pick up this episode, very beginning, with where we left off with Kimmie and Kiuwhaaaaat having their discussion about Kimmie feeling like Kiuwhaaaaat helped to support the narrative that Kimmie was a side chick allegedly, okay? And y'all already know what I said about this last week and what I said about it on Twitter last night, that I still believe that Maurice is the one to cover and support Kimmie and protect Kimmie and to shut down that narrative. That doesn't lie on Kiuwhaaaaat's shoulders whatsoever. For me, I get Kimmie's point though, and Kimmie my girl. Side note, did y'all see Kimmie and Maurice's interview on TGI Friday with Al Reynolds, Claudia Jordan, Funky Dineva? They were getting into Maurice's behind, especially Claudia. It was really good. I can't remember what day of the week episode it was. I think it was Friday episode, if I'm not mistaken, but y'all gotta check that out because they was not letting off the gas off of Maurice. But anyway, so Kimmie is saying, like, you know, Kiuwhaaaaat, girl, you was basically perpetuating the rumors. And so Kiuwhaaaaat was saying, like, girl, like, I don't be on the blogs, I don't be saying nothing, like, girl, how do you hold me responsible? Kimmie's like, you lacking integrity. I don't know how that makes Kiuwhaaaaat lack integrity, but whatever. So Kiuwhaaaaat was like, I can't control what people think, the narrative and all that. And so Kimmie was like, no, you can't control what's put out there, but, you know, making statements on camera, like, you know, saying that me and Maurice got together while you guys still, before you guys were divorced, that, you know, is information people take and ran with. Now, people did, I think, when the show first started, kind of maybe ran with that narrative. I don't know. If they were already in the process of a divorce and have been separated for some time, I don't think it was that many people calling her a side chick per se. Now, granted, if you took that lady husband, she don't care what kind of narrative is put out there if you took that lady husband. So that's what it is. And nobody's even caring about that at this time. Like, that is so old news. So it's conversation again. Like I said, it was unnecessary and pointless. Kimmie was saying that, you know, through this process, Maurice has wanted to protect little Maurice because he's going to grow up and see the show one day. And I'm sure he has by now. He's 15, okay? And she was like, he wanted to protect your image, his own image. At that time, you know, that was hurting my image. And, you know, I have a son too. And me and my son were protected. Like, I don't want my son thinking my mom did what? Like, my son was able to see the show. Yeah, Jalen's much older than little Maurice, so it's kind of different. Like, I get what Kimmie is saying. I totally get what Kimmie is saying. Don't get me wrong, y'all. So she was saying, like, you know, people are going to take things wrong with it. So Kai was like, okay. Kiuwhaaaaat could care less, okay? She's like, well, I'm out here filming this scene. Kai was like, you know, I didn't know you felt that. She was like, so Kimmie was like, Kai was like, well, you know, I didn't know you felt that way. I didn't know that you blamed me for the blog. She's like, not blame you, but I do feel like you could have, like, said, you know, something. And so Kai was like, well, I didn't know you felt that way. We never talked about it. You know, a lot has happened over the years. Like, I've grown from a lot of things. And Kiuwhaaaaat definitely, she still got that stone face, but she got a little bit different energy, a lighter energy than she first had. And so she was like, you know, I'm glad we're having this talk. I'm glad you let me know, you know, like, you know, if you felt like, you know, I could have done something. Like, she kind of sort of said sorry, but not really. Kimmy was like, you know, it's one of those sorries, like, I'm sorry I hurt you. If I hurt you, then I'm sorry. And she's like, you know, that's good. It may not be an apology everybody else wants, but it was good enough for me, and she just hopes they can move forward. I'm glad Kimmy got whatever she thought she was supposed to get. At the end of the day, though, Kimmy, love Kimmy. Kimmy is my girl. Kimmy is still one of my #1 characters on the show. However, it's still Maurice's job to shut down the rumors. It was still Maurice's job to protect you while he was protecting the rest of the family, and protect your narrative, and protect how Jalen is going to see you on TV. That was Maurice's job to say, you know what, actually, to put a statement out on Twitter. Since he's doing interviews with Carlos King, he could say that. Instead of talking about how Kimmy rolling over and bending it over and tooting it over for you and saying all that crazy stuff you said on Carlos King, not articulating yourself clearly, you could be saying on there, you know what, I do want to clear up the rumors, you know, me and Kimmy got together after me and Kiuwha were divorced, or at the end of our divorce process, or whatever the hell the facts are that I don't care about anymore. Like, I don't even want to hear about this anymore. But anyway, no, Maurice ain't over there doing interviews like that. He want to talk about how she spreading it while she doing chemo. But anyway, so Kimmy said, I just want to talk about that. That's because that's what Maurice wanted. We want to shut it down. I don't want to make us go left, and that's what it is. Good. Okay. Like I said, I understand Kimmy's point, but in the day, that falls on Maurice, not Kiuwha. All right, so then moving on, we got another little thing we got to clear up. We got to get the Mel and Stormy. Stormy came through her white, though. So they go meet up wherever they met up. And Mel's like, hi, how you doing, girl? So Stormy's like, girl, I know you've been going through a lot, so how are you? What you doing? You good? Mel's like, yeah, I'm good, girl. I'm good. So Stormy's like, yeah, I just want to talk to you because we haven't talked in a while. And Mel's like, yeah, girl, we having a restart. Yes. And so Stormy is like, you know, I want to talk to you, Mel. I feel like with you, instead of you dealing with stuff, you like just push things to the side and not deal with them. And so Mel was like, what do you mean? Like, I don't think that's true. And so Stormy was saying, like, me and you was hanging out real tough, and then, you know, you wanted your space, and I think that's true, like, because you changed your number and all that. And so Mel was like, no, that's not what it was. And she was like, when things start happening with you and your mom, coming at me the way your mom came at me with the tea party and all that, like, I had to choose to move differently because I already went through that with Tisha and her mama, and like, I don't want to go through that again. Now I get Mel's point on that, although Tisha and her mama was a little different circumstance, but I get it. She don't even want to go down that road, okay? So she's like, wrong road. Portia Williams. So anyway, I get it. So Stormy's like, you know, I understand, like, my mom, she could be a lie. And she's like, Mel's like, let me ask you this. Did you know, like, how your mom felt about me prior to this, or did you agree with your mom's feelings towards me? And so Stormy explained, like, my mom, like, she got a problem with everybody. Like, she didn't like my husband, her sister. She didn't like my friends. Like, she don't like nobody new, basically, in Stormy life until they, like, prove themselves to her and break down her walls, and then she cool with them, which we saw that on the screen. Like, her mama is definitely like that. And she was like, now, when it comes to me, and she said also, like, my mama didn't like you because of what she saw on TV, but she didn't know you, so she didn't have no business not liking you. Okay, let me find out Miss Betty was watching Love and Marriage Huntsville all these years and waiting for her time to get on the show. So she was like, but she didn't know you, so she shouldn't have done that. And she's like, no, I don't agree, like, with my mom. And so Mel's like, I believe you, like, you don't, you know, agree with your mom. I understand that. But she was just saying, like, dealing with that, like, with your mom's behavior and all that, I can't do that. I don't want to go down that road again. And Mel's confessional, she was saying, like, she already went through that with Tisha and her mom. Like, she not trying to do that again. No, not today. No. That's what Mel said. So Stormy's like, but I feel like it was even before my mom, like, that me and you started drifting off. And so Mel was like, okay. She was another one not bothered, okay? Mel and Kiuwha were not bothered in this episode, okay? Y'all can confront them all day long, they not bothered. So anyway, Mel was like, no, that's not the case. And so that's not what it is at all. Like, that's not it. And so with Stormy's like, well, I feel like we've been drifting off and all that. And so Mel was like, well, you reached out, like, we here. And so Stormy's like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I know now, like, moving forward, it's not gonna be no awkwardness. I know how, you know, it's gonna be, and it's all good, and hopefully we move forward, no problems. And Mel said, I hope not. And that was pretty much it. You know, we just had a reunion. We had a new season. Mel recycles her friends, and that's okay. But I understand, you know, Stormy, you was just a recycle friend, just like the previous season Destiny was. So it's okay. You know, next, Nell got closer to Mel this season. Next season, Nell gonna be on the sidelines. And then who knows for the next time? We don't know. You know, Mel got to take her breaks, okay? But I understand the mama thing that Mel got going on, to be serious. Anyway, okay, now let's get to Maurice and little Maurice. So big Maurice takes little Maurice to go play basketball. I was like, oh, thank God this man has a normal activity with him and put away that boot camp mess. So they play basketball. Of course, little Maurice beats big Maurice, of course. And so he was like, I'm gonna give him a break because you got a breath and all that. And so big Maurice said, you know, I want to bring you out here because I know we've been doing a lot of talking at you, and how do you feel about everything? And Maurice, little Maurice, like, you know, it gets boring, you get tired of hearing it and all that. And so big Maurice is like, you know, if I make a mistake with parenting, I want to hurry up and correct it right away. And he was like, you know, me and Marsau, we had jobs when we were your age. Like when Marsau was your age, you know, he had 3 jobs and I had 2. I was cutting grass, cutting hair. And I'm trying to, you know, I'm realizing that me and you are growing up totally different. And of course, different time. And so he said, you know, I can't raise you from that scarcity mindset because it's not the same. Like, your life is totally different now. And it made me think of Big Jamie and Little Jamie and Jason on Love and Marriage DC, how Big Jamie had that same kind of mentality, probably a little harsher though, how he kind of was he was really hard on, especially Little Jamie, from that survivor mindset, when not realizing that his kids are not in a survivor mindset. They have everything. So it's not the same. And so it's the same with little Maurice. You know, he has the whole world pretty much handed to him. His mom did everything for him. So he's not living in a scarcity mindset. Yeah, when you are in a scarcity mindset, yeah, you are going to teach your kids some, like, you know, hard knock survival lessons. But most of these kids today, I'm not going to say all these kids today, because there's a lot of people living in poverty right now as well. But some of these people who have grown up, you know, my age and older, however old, our parents' age, and they have achieved a lot and they have a lot to give their kids. They don't realize you've given your kids everything you didn't have. So they're not growing up in the same mindset that you were growing up in. So Big Maurice is finally realizing that. And this was a good hearted scene. I really did enjoy it. And he said, you know, I'm trying to figure out who you are and who are you. And little Maurice is like, I am too. Like, you know, I don't know. It's hard. And so he was like, what is hard? What you don't know? He's like, myself. Like, I'm still figuring out myself. And which I would expect him to say that. He's only 15, 16. Like, he don't know who he is yet. It's people in their 30s don't know who they are yet. So, you know, and so he was like, you know, I'm just trying to figure it out and all that. And so he was like, you know, if you ever want to, you know, talk to me, ask me questions, like, it's fine. Like, I'm here for you. I don't want you to feel like we just always talking at you. And then he was like, yeah, like, can I ask you something now? He's like, can we get something to eat out there once we're done? And so he was like, yeah, that's fine, but you gotta play me another game of basketball. But he was like, but for real, like, something serious you want to ask me? Like, Maurice is begging his son. So then he was like, no, like, I will, like, it's good. And then he was like, well, you also gotta, you know, get them grades together, get on that homework, do them chores, like, you gotta make that priority. So then he's looking like, ugh, of course, like a typical teenager, he ain't checking for them chores. And so he was like, nah, I know, it's a given. He's like, it's a given, why you don't do it then? He's like, well, now that I'm gonna get my phone taken away, like, now he on it. You know, they can't take it when y'all take that phone away. They can't take it. So he was like, you know, well, Maurice is like, well, you need to make the progress then, because you ain't really doing it. And he was like, well, I'm making steps. I'm trying. And so then Maurice was like, oh, okay. So anyway, that was good to see that, you know, hopefully they get on a better track than what they were. So anyway, then we get to the event space for the Black Business Expo, right? And so we got Tisha's taking Marsau, Maurice, Kimmy. I love that green jacket Kimmy had on. and Martel, and then Kourtney and Stormy are going to show up a little later to see the event space for the Black Expo. Tisha won't put an X in that Expo, won't she? And I love Tisha. Tisha, you are beautiful. Your hair be on point, girl. You was looking right in them jeans, girl. This Black Expo idea is a good idea, but you struggling to put that X in Expo, but it's okay. It is okay, girl. You know, I be saying words off too. It's fine. So, she took him to see the event space, and she said, let me get my notepad out. She had to take her notes, okay? She was like, you know, she went ahead and booked the space, made the executive decision. And so Martel, so she went down to get her notepad. I guess Martel took a good look at that booty. And he was like, oh, I can see somebody been working out. And so Marcel was like, huh, what? You look at my chest or something? And then he was like, no, I'm talking about Tisha. Like, I can tell she been working out. And so, they was like, what? Marcel was like, oh, you over here like lusting after my wife? Like, what? And then he was like, no, I just noticed, like, you know, you looking right, you know? And so Martel gonna say in his confessional, like, you know, he just noticed, you know, Tisha was looking good. And, you know, he could tell she been working out, and he was training Marcel, and he could see that, you know, she still looked better than him. Nothing weird about that. I'm like, it was kind of weird, Martel. Especially coming from you. It was kind of weird. Like, you clearly looked at her behind. Now, Tisha, girl, you was doing in them jeans. I don't know what brand of jeans those are, but tell me in the comments, girl, so I can get me some. Because you was working it out in them jeans, girl. They was hitting all the right places. So, Tisha at this point lets the group know that Mel says she ain't going to be part of the Black Expo. Get somebody else to do it. She basically explained what Mel explained last week about how it's too soon to get involved with this stuff with the group, and especially they were just barely not speaking recently, so why would people expect her to want to do all this? I said, you know, I totally understand that part on Mel's part. She's like, also with like everything going on with Martel and the kids and the courts and all that, like it's too much to deal with. So Martel was like, really? She said that? Like, you know, why we got to bring the courts and the kids and all that? Like, we need to just leave that stuff to the courts for the courts to decide about the kids, but we don't need to bring it into anything else. And I'm like, Martel, you got your mother freaking nerve saying that when you bringing everything into it. Okay, so anyway, got Mel getting down on the lives and coastline fighting with her in the social media streets. It's a mess. So you need to be quiet, sir. So anyway, Tisha was like, well, it wasn't just you, Martel. It wasn't just that. It's other stuff too. And so Martel was like, nah, it had to be me. It just had to be me. Like, I don't understand. So then he gonna say in the confessional, like, he don't understand why Mel can't put stuff aside, you know, to work for the community and all that. First of all, Martel's not all about you. Like she said, she's not ready to be back with the whole group, not just you. Okay, now you one of the problems, but it ain't just you. It's not all about you, sir. So anyway, Maurice was disappointed, of course. He said, you know, this sucks because when the comeback group, because Tisha showed them the flyer as well, I forgot to mention, and it had comeback group in there. She's like, you see Kimmy, Kimmy's like, I ain't saying nothing. And so Maurice is like, you know, the first initial fire to comeback group is lost. Like he remembers before he even got into the comeback group, and he remembers Marsau and Mel talking about it, and he just got really involved in the spirit of it and bought into it, and now he feels like that spirit is gone. And so, and you know, the fight to want to help the community is gone and all that. And so Tisha's like, well, you know, that's still fight and love for the community is still there. And so Marsau's like, yeah, the community is still here. Like, we can still help the community. So they got Maurice to get in, to still, you know, want to do it. You know, he was still going to do it. Carlos said. So anyway, then Stormy and Kourtney came. And so, of course, they asked Stormy to be a part of it, and she was down for it. She loved doing stuff like that. So Tisha's like, oh, thank God. She gave her a big old hug. So they walking down the stairs, and Martel's making jokes. So Tisha's like, what's so funny? What's going on? What's so funny? And so then Marcel's like, I'm trying to keep Martel from looking at my wife's behind and all that. And so she's like, oh, we got to be serious. So everybody's laughing. Kimmy's like, well, I look at it too. Stormy's like, I can't lie. I'm looking at it too. And Stormy said in the confessional, like, I know Tisha trying to have this business serious moment, but you know, she looking right in them jeans, like we all looking, girl. And so, you know, they made a joke out of that. So anyway, let's get to Kourtney. So Kourtney, I don't know what kind of motorcycle or bike or something that was on. That was really cool. He rode down to his mama house. Maybe she don't stay that far away. I don't know. Miss Shelby, now she was a breath of fresh air. She was beautiful. She was counseling Kourtney. She was pouring into him and holding him accountable. Like, can we get Miss Shelby on the show permanently, Carlos King? You could take Miss Betty back to where you found her. You could bring back Miss Wanda occasionally to get the mess started. And have Miss Shelby on here for a voice of reason, because Miss Marlene ain't gonna hold her son accountable. But Miss Shelby holds her son accountable, and I like that. And she poured into him in such a positive, loving way. It was beautiful. So anyway, you know, she poured Kourtney a cup of coffee. He said it's gonna have him up all night. So anyway, he was talking about how, well, she was telling him, you know, you gotta do stuff for family, work hard for family, do what you gotta do, because he was saying how busy he was and all that. And she was like, yeah, so what's going on with you and Stormy? I know you guys are talking about having another kid. And Kourtney was like, no, like, that's off the table right now. It just ain't no way, no way. So she was like, what? That don't even make sense. So she's like, it ain't gotta make sense. You ain't gotta explain it to me. Like, it's fine. I like how she didn't pry, you know? And so then he was like, nah, just, you know, I want to keep the family together and break generational curses and all this stuff. And the way he was talking, I was like, are you going to leave Stormy? Because he was like, you know, I don't want Chase to ever be a single parent. I don't want Stormy to be raising him by herself or me raising him by myself. Like, y'all not breaking up. Y'all just want to have another kid or not. I didn't understand some of his logic quite well. But I think the bottom line is he don't want to make the same mistakes his dad made is really what he's trying to express. And so she was saying how, like, you know, it was hard. Like, she didn't always know things were going to work out. She had to make hard, you know, try to figure out how to put a meal together. You know, they were struggling. And he was saying, you know, I know I saw you struggle as a single parent. And my dad wasn't around. And it was hard. And she was like, yeah, you know, sometimes I had to make a decision to either buy some medicine or go to work. Like, it was rough, but, you know, I didn't know. And she was like, I know, you know, it's hard, and you are already being a good dad, and you're going to continue to be a good dad. Like, I see you doing that. And Kourtney broke down because he said it was hard not having a dad and going to all his games and stuff, the basketball games, like the mom said, and his dad not there. He couldn't, you know, his dad wasn't there to teach him how to tie a tie and change a tire and all that. And he got really emotional about it. And he said, you know, him and his dad didn't get to talk about some of the things they needed to talk about before his dad passed. And so that was really sad. I love that we got this other side and layer to Kourtney, and we learned a bit more about him. So one thing I liked about this whole episode is we got some revelations and some movement, right? And we learned something. So anyway, Shelby was like, you know, understand all that. And she hugged her son and let him cry on her shoulder. And so she said, but, you know, I know men, y'all like to push things to the side and have y'all wait and all that. But you also have to, you know, see it from her point of view and take into accountability what she thinks. And, you know, put your own feelings aside and have some compromise. Like, you also have to hear her side of it and see what she says, because she wants to have another kid. And so Kourtney was like, yeah, he understands he needs to do that. Okay. So then the last scene, we get down to the Black Business Expo. Y'all going to the Expo? So Tisha is over there running around. She's like, oh, you know, they was have 25 vendors, but they was getting more and more people. I don't know the assistant lady name. She was working hard, running around there. They had a big old nice balloon arch. Stormy was there. She took up a whole corner. She had it set up so she gonna make it like a living room. So the lady was like, yeah, I know we're supposed to only have 25 vendors, but people kept asking and signing up, so I didn't want to turn them down. And so Tisha's like, dang, I should have got a bigger space. And she told the lady, like, you know, next time turn them down, so then they will want to sign up for next year. And which makes sense. But I think first time around, you know, it's gonna be a bunch of you know, lessons learned, trial and error when you're doing an event like that. So Tisha is worried about the space being too tight and people not being able to walk around and flow. And I do know from helping to plan health fair events, like, you do have to make sure that flow is right and it's not going to be congested areas. So they are going to have to get that together, and I'm sure they will. So Stormy is over there stressing out, complaining to somebody, kind of look like Mama Shelby or somebody, her assistant or somebody, that everybody from her business, from Canvas Beauty, stayed behind at the warehouse because they had to get some big order together. And Kourtney has to drive it to New York to get it on time. It's for a big retailer. And if they don't get it there on time, they could get, you know, fined a bunch of money. So it has to be done. But she's nervous because she's out there to help with that. And she's like, I shouldn't have signed up for this. I need to be there. The lady was telling her it's going to be okay. I'm sure, you know, Kourtney going to make sure it gets done. That sounded very stressful though, so I get it. So Stormy was setting everything up. Then Marsau came in there like a damn thunderstorm. Like, oh, what is this? Well, who paid for this? A balloon? Or he's just like, it's $325. He's like, oh my God, well, we need to get the projectors going. And why is only one screen and two projectors? And he's telling lady, well, can you find out? And he's like, can you find out like right now? And teacher's like, dang, like you came in here hot. Like, how much coffee did you have this morning? He's like, nah, I came in here with purpose. Like, we got to get these things done. Like, sometimes she's like, well, you came in here on 20. He's like, well, maybe, you know, I should have came here on 50. Like, we got to get it popping. So he going off and looking around, and he's like, oh, Stormy over there, because, you know, Tisha's concerned because Stormy had took up hell of space. And she was like, we could have got 2 or 3 booths over there. But it's fine. Stormy's little area look cute, though. I ain't mad at it. Okay, take your space, Stormy. So Martel was like, oh, hey, Tisha, did Stormy, you know, did she put her $100 deposit down for her space? And so Tisha was like, no, we didn't ask anybody from, you know, the core group to put down money. We just, you know, said they could set up their booth, you know, for free. We didn't ask none of them to put down any money. And so any deposits. And so he was like, yeah, but she need to put down $100 deposit. She's like, well, you know, like, Skull, like, we not putting chocolate bottle, we not putting down no deposit. And he's like, yeah, but we paid for all this and all this, so, you know, she need to put down deposit. She's like, well, I'm not going over there to tell her nothing. Like, that's tacky to do that right now. And that's very tacky, Marsau. I didn't even know you could be that tacky, sir. So anyway, so Marsau, he gonna walk himself over there and be like, oh, hey, Stormy. Like, girl, look at you. You doing all this, girl. You doing all this. You got a booth over here, girl. Look at you. Okay, Stormy, you need help, anything? She's like, no, we good. We got most of it. So he's like, yeah. So, hey, Stormy, like, you know, did you get your $100 over here yet? Did you do that? And so she was like, what? And then he's like, yeah, your $100 deposit for your booth. She was like, what? Don't come over here and ask me y'all no $100 for no booth on the day of. Like, don't do that. No, don't do that. You better than that. Like, don't do that. And you are better than that, Marcel. You tried it, sir. You really tried it. She was like, that is so low vibrational. That is so low vibrational. You come out here doing that. He's like, nah, like, come on. He's like, it'd be worse if I came 3 months later and said it. Like, you know, we just, come on, I'll help you, I'll help you out with the process right now while you get that together. She was like, we not doing that. That is low vibrational. And so he was like, oh, okay. He's like, oh, I didn't even know you was like that, Stormy. She was like what? He's like, you over here being low vibrational with a smile on your face. Look at you. And then he was like, He was like, let me get Tisha. He's like, Tisha, babe, come over here. So Tisha came over there. She was like, what's going on? And then he's like, yeah, Stormy got this low vibrational. Did he say menu or something? He got this low vibrational stuff over here. And then she's like, oh, don't even play with me. And so then she was like, your husband came over here. So then he was like, nah, we ain't got to do that, Stormy. And he touched her. And so Stormy's like, nope, don't touch me. No, your husband came over here asking me for $100 for the booth today. And she was like, don't come over here the day of asking me for no $100. And then it said to be continued. And next week, look like it's going to be good because we're going to get down to the Black Expo. Y'all going to the Expo? All the people in Huntsville, did y'all go down to the Black Business Expo? With an X, not an S. Let me know if y'all did in the comments. I would love to know how the Black Expo went. But yeah, Marcel, you tacky as tacky couldn't be. Walking over there asking for that lady for $100. She done saved the whole Black Business Expo and you worried about $100. See, that's why they wasn't trusting you in the beginning about that sponsorship stuff. You just proved everybody's point about how you was going to get down on the business tip, but that's all and good. We're going to see what happens next week, y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will talk to y'all soon about Love and Marriage Detroit. Bye.